spring season. Yeah, I'm trying to live my dreams. Wake up getting money, but this life ain't what it seems.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Eternal back at it again with another video. It's been a little bit. I've had to take a break. We got a new dog. She's actually right back here. We got both of them. Roxy, got Kaya, enjoying her bone over there. Let me set you up again. Yeah, had to take a little break, but now we're back in it. I'm gonna talk today about the Backrooms movie. I went and seen it on, I believe, the 28th of May. So it's been about almost a month now. So I feel comfortable enough to talk about it with spoilers ahead. There are spoilers ahead. So if you don't want to get spoiled, click off the video right now. With that being said, let's get into it. The movie starts off with the Async logo. When I seen the Async logo, I flipped. I mean, it was ecstatic. The feeling was crazy seeing the Async logo. And we get into the found footage of an Async researcher who got lost in the back rooms, whether he time traveled like Peter or if he just got separated from his crew. I don't know. But then he ends up finding a bird. It looked like a bird had no clipped into the back rooms, and then he went to the same hole where the bird may have no clipped from. It looked like it had came from there, and tried to see if he could find a way out. Couldn't find a way out. While all this is happening, an entity is in the area. In the beginning of the movie, we have no idea who it is, right? We're all sitting there collectively thinking, oh, it's the bacteria, the life form. He's coming to get him. By the end of the movie, you'll know who it is. What happened after? The researcher ended up finding a research panel or whatnot, tried contacting the complex. No luck. And then it's been a minute since I watched it. All I know, he ends up dying. And then we go straight into Clark and Mary in a therapy session where I guess they have this role play that they do. Mary is Clark's wife in the role play, and then Clark is obviously Clark. I am a fucking architect. That all goes on, and then he's having issues at his store, the Ottoman Empire. He can't, he's struggling with the bills. Lights are flickering. He has no idea why. When lights flicker, you think it's some normal stuff, but in this universe, we all know it ain't normal. So he calls over an electrician. They're going to take a look at the box, and they notice two red switches that they kind of just shrug off. They think, oh, maybe the last guy sucks at his job. He doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? So they shrug it off. Don't really think too much of it. And then we get to a shot of Clark sleeping in his store. That was crazy. I didn't think bro was sleeping in his store, but, here we are. So he's sleeping in his store, watching some TV. I didn't see anybody talk about this, but there was a shot of the Backrooms on his TV. What the hell was that about? Literally the camera footage where what's his name, Phil, sees Clark in the complex shows up on Clark's TV when he's in the real world in his store. What the hell? But that happens, and then all the lights start flickering again. They turn on. So he goes downstairs. He's messing around with the lights and whatnot, but they're not turning on. Then he goes to switch those two same switches that were there. Magically, it works. It just works. Shuts them off. He's walking back upstairs, but he notices a crack in the wall. This is the moment where he enters the complex. There's a big pile of furniture in the middle. He's walking around. He's exploring. He finds a purple chair. He finds his employees' shoes in the ground. And then he hears something. He hears something walking around, shuffling, and that is the same entity from the beginning of the movie that killed the researcher. So he hauls ass up on out of there. I wouldn't really say hauling ass. He was more of like walking out of that thing. I would have been gone. But he's on the wall. He can't find where he came from, and then eventually he ends up putting his hand through where he came from. Immediately, as soon as he goes back to the real world, he decides, I need a chair. So he grabs a chair from the pile, brings it into his furniture store, and I believe he did that to see if maybe the chairs will react different in the real world, but nothing really goes on with the chair. Fast forward, I believe it was a shot of Mary at a party reminiscing about, her past. She had a fucked up mom. She was either schizo or something happened. I seen a lot of theories saying that she at one point was in the back rooms. Maybe she worked for Async, but really no telling. So we get a few shots of that, and then we get Clark driving to his ex-wife's house. I'm probably discombobulating a lot of this, but yeah, there was a shot of Clark driving to his ex-wife's house. He was sitting out there. What the heck? He was sitting outside of her house, and I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing there. And then I'm gonna get to the part where Clark and Mary had another therapy session. Clark talking about the back rooms. He's, sounding crazy. I mean, I want you to try and describe the back rooms to somebody. It's been hard for me. He's sounding crazy. She doesn't believe him, so he says, "You know what? I'm going to come back with proof. I'm going to come back, and you're going to believe me. You're going to have to believe me." Goes back to the complex. Hold on. This freaking dog. Get off my bed. Get off the bed. What are you doing? Jeez Louise. Anyways, yeah, he says, I'm gonna bring you proof and you have to believe me. So he brings Kat and Bobby, which are his two employees. They're helping him out with the store. Goes to their house, asks for their help, wants a camera. So they all go into the complex, right? Kat and Bobby are like, no, there's no way this place is real. Clark walks through the wall. Kat and Bobby are like, whoa, whoa, what? No way. Really didn't care for those two. Great actors, whatnot, but I really didn't care for their characters too much. So they all go into the back rooms. Clark ties up a knot on Bobby. It was a tight ass knot. I don't know what he was thinking, but it was a tight ass knot. These are a lot of signs that he was going crazy. He said that he was in the back rooms almost every night trying to explore it, map it out. This dude was crazy. So he sends Bobby right down this slanted, the slope area. There's a whole bunch of pile of clothes. There's a freaking dead async researcher down there. What I think it was the entity's nest. Maybe collecting all these items and pretty much building a home for itself. Immediately after, there's a shot of lights flickering and you see the silhouette of the entity. Crazy as hell. Bobby is running. He is dashing. Pull me up. What do you see? That shit was crazy. The whole found footage part of the movie was insane. So they pull him up, but they can't get the knot off. Who would have thought? The entity drags Bobby down. Freaking, they're sitting there trying to pull him up. Then the entity pulls so hard that it actually pulls the bed frame down and it knocks Kat and Clark down. Now they're all down there with no rope, mind you, to go back up. So Bobby gets dragged through a wall, killed, definitely dead. And then Kat is running, chasing after. Clark runs through like the roof that's on the wall. So like the roof is on the side. He runs through that. Ends up in the pool rooms. There's a whole bunch of sun scene like picture frames. And then he ends up in the pool rooms, and then the Christmas tree room. This part of the movie was the scariest for me. I jumped out of my seat in the movie theater. I was freaking out. The little still life in the wheelchair turns on his light, and then all you see is the another still life holding her head, walking towards Clark, and that shit freaked me out. I'm like, this is insane. So Clark's making a run for it, da da da. Ends up back in that pool rooms area, I believe, and I don't know if it was Kat on the other side of the wall where she could see Clark, or if it was an entity pretending to be Kat. I couldn't tell you. But Clark's on the wall. He's sitting there like, how can you see me? Where are you? It's just a wall right here. The camera gets picked up right behind him. And the camera is like tall. It's tall as shit. And Clark looks behind him, and then it cuts. Then we go move over to Mary. Now Mary is the protagonist of our story here. Mary goes to see Clark because she gets a message from Clark talking about he opened his window or something like that, and he doesn't want to come back. He's staying forever. Pretty much he wants to stay in the back rooms forever. He likes the space. She goes to the Ottoman Empire, sees a whole bunch of mail on the ground, which I'm guessing he's been gone for like a month or two because he had a lot of mail on the ground. And mail comes every week, not every day. What happens after that? She goes into the store. She's like, Clark, where are you? Da da da. Goes into the basement, sees that he's been mapping out on a whiteboard the complex, and then she sees a fly go right through the wall, and she's like, what the hell? Walks through the wall, she finally enters the back rooms. She's walking around exploring, and she ends up in this corner area or something with paintings on the wall of the entity holding up a yellow figure with some async researchers around and some houses and whatnot. She hears something behind her. It's Clark talking like, it's beautiful, isn't it? Why are you standing there like that? You look like a freak. He goes over to Mary. They both hear something walking towards them. And immediately Clark chokes her out. Just chokes her ass out. She wakes up. And we are in this dinner scene. Craziest part of the movie for me. Definitely the craziest part of the movie. I loved every second of this movie. This part right here broke down a bunch of lore, a bunch of described the the still lifes. Clark has been hanging out with these still lifes. What? Kaya, you hearing this? He's been hanging out with the still lifes. There's a still life of some dude in a wheelchair, and then there's a still life with like 6 eyes. He's like a spider guy, look like Brugly, and a still life of his ex-wife. Yeah. So Clark is having this dinner, right? He talks about the still lives, how they can't feel pain. You know, you can do whatever you want to them. He takes a knife, stabs the spider guy in his neck, and then just shoves his hand right in his gut, rips out like some mashed potatoes or something, puts it on the plate and says, you can even eat them. This guy's been freaking eating these things. He's insane. He is crazy. So He wants to act out the role play again with Mary, and Mary's like, no, I don't want to do this. This freaking dude, Clark, goes to the redheaded still life of his ex-wife, scalps her, takes the hair off, puts it on Mary, and now they're reenacting the same scene the night he got kicked out of his own house. Why did you scalp? Why did you scalp her? What was all that about? Anyways, they're going through it. Mary finally snaps and says, "You're a fucking idiot. This whole thing's because of you." And Clark ain't never heard no shit like that. He's like, "Really? I just want to stay here. I just want to stay here." He likes the Backrooms. Clearly, he likes the Backrooms. He gets to escape from reality. He doesn't have to worry about bills. He doesn't have to worry about his ex-wife. He doesn't have to worry about any of it. Then we get the same entity from the beginning of the movie that's been inconspicuous the entire time. Captain Clark. A still life version of Clark in his captain uniform. This scene was insane. It was insane. I mean, the moment that he walked in the room, he freaking picked up Clark, and Captain Clark became Captain Crunch. What? Takes a bite out of Clark's shoulder, throws him on the wall. Mary is taking the chance. She sneaks past them. Anyways, she sneaks past them and she's booking it. She goes outside, realizes that she's in this neighborhood area, and Captain Clark is dragging Clark's body. So Mary is booking it. She's booking it. She finds a door. She opens it, and she realizes it is an infinite pit of like rooms, like a literal infinite pit of rooms, with stairs going up to the roof, and there's this little door. So she's crawling on the wall. Captain Clark's right behind her, punching the door, punches a fist right through the door. She's by the stairs. She opens it. The latch falls on her head, falls infinitely down. You don't even hear it hit the ground. You don't hear it hit the ground. So she climbs through the hole, and it's an exact replica of Captain Clark's basement. An exact replica. So Captain Clark's right behind her. She runs up the stairs of the basement, and it's the Ottoman Empire. The Backrooms version of the Ottoman Empire. There's a scene, well, there's a shot where Mary is standing by the entrance of the Ottoman Empire, right? And realizes it's just more walls. In the distance, you see Captain Clark standing there. I didn't even see him the first time. The moment he started walking, I said, wait, he's right there. So she's booking it. She grabs like a lamp thing or whatever it is, and she's gonna use it as a weapon. But clearly that doesn't work. So Captain Clark's crawling and gets on top of her. She pulls out the stone that she had implanted at her old house. It was like her hand. She took it when they demolished her house and started beating. She started wailing on him. I mean, she literally broke the stone. So this still life was different than the rest, because this one actually bled. What's all that about? I couldn't tell you. Then they break the cardboard cutout, the caveman cardboard cutout from Kane's freaking YouTube series. Yeah, that's in the movie. And then it sets off an alarm and all these gas things that go off, which I'm guessing was to neutralize like any threats that enter. So she's starting to pass out. Then she finds a crack in the wall. She goes through the crack in the wall, and Captain Clark is sitting there trying to reach her. Mary seems to feel bad for Captain Clark, which I'm guessing, that was her client at one point. Now he's a monster from the Backrooms. So she's going through the wall, and then she finally gets to the other side of this wall, and the async researchers are sitting there spraying her ass down with some more gas to make sure to finish the job. And then the supervisor is stopping the other guy. He's like, no, that's not a monster. What are the This part of the movie was insane to see theatrical. The Threshold. Seeing the Threshold on the big screen and not the YouTube series was insane. So Phil, the same researcher that's seen Clark in the Backrooms the first time on camera, is questioning Mary now. He's like, we don't even know what's going on. We were doing MRIs before this. So they're questioning Mary. Mary asks, well, what's going to happen with me? Phil looks over to, which I'm guessing is a one-way glass where, the mirror's on this side, but there's other people on the other side. He says, that's not up to me. I think she's freaking dead. There's no way Async is going to let this type of information get out to the public because they don't want anybody knowing about the Backrooms. You know what I'm saying? So they did it to that boy, I can't even think of his name, Peter. They did it to Peter. Why wouldn't they do it to Mary? So at the end of the movie, we get a bunch of these shots of Mary's broken down house, all the rubble. We get a shot of Cat and Bobby, some missing posters that are like continuously copying itself into the ground. That shot was crazy. And then we get a shot of the Ottoman Empire, and the very last shot was the Async research lab where Phil was talking to Mary. And right there was a still life version of Mary. Then the movie ends. The movie was insane. I loved every bit of it. There's a lot of people that complained about the pacing, about this, about the movie didn't even have any levels. Where was Diddy Booty Jackson on level 74? I didn't see any smilers. It's not this freaking Backrooms movie. You wanted a Wiki's Backroom movie, and that shit would suck. Thank goodness you didn't direct the movie, because that shit would have sucked. A Dreamcore movie, that would be pretty cool. I would like to see a Dreamcore movie. Maybe one of these guys will make a good one, but this is Kane Pixel's Backrooms, and he has a very specific story. A very beautiful story. It was great. It was beautiful. I loved every minute of the movie. It was great. I think my only gripe of the movie would be that it would be longer. I want a 2.5-hour movie next time. Instead of an hour 45 minutes, I want 2 hours and a half. 2.5 hours. You gotta describe this shit to me. I want to see more. I want to see more exploration. I wanted to see Clark go insane, after exploring many of the Backrooms parts. That would be my only gripe. Besides that, the movie was perfect. Perfect. That is my review of the Backrooms movie. It was great. It was definitely my favorite movie of the year so far. And yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I would give it a 10 out of 10, but like I said, I want more of it. I want more of it. If I had more of it, it'd be a 10 out of 10. No doubt about it. There were so many hidden implications in there. I mean, from real world to AI, fucking memories, all that. All that. It was perfect. But with that being said, I want to thank you. You keep it safe. Y'all stay blessed. I will see y'all in the next one. If you like the video, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Tell me what you really know about it. All the silence, all the fighting. You tell me that you love me, but I'm starting to doubt it.